You ever thought about visiting the South Pole? Well, let me tell you a few things first. The South Pole is located on Antarctica. Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent. The temperature has reached 129 degrees below zero. No, thank you. There are no humans that live there. But in early 1900s, explorers were trying to be the first to reach the South Pole. One of these men was named Ernest Shackleton. Ernest Shackleton was born on February 15, 1874 in Ireland. He went to school at home until he was 11 years old. Shackleton joined the Merchant Marine when he was 16 and went to sea. A year later, he certified as Master, which meant he could command any British ship on the seas. In August 1901, Shackleton set sail on Discovery with a group who want to go to the South Pole. The crew began their trek on the Ross Ice Shelf. They only made it this far, 270 miles from their base. They were still 800 miles away from the South Pole. 2 months later, Shackleton was weak from scurvy and was sent home. This was an embarrassing way to come home from an expedition. Scurvy is a disease caused by a lack of vitamin C. On April 9, 1904, Ernest married Emily Dorman, but he was an explorer and couldn't wait to try and reach the South Pole again. It took him 3 years, but Shackleton was able to leave for the South Pole on the ship called Nimrod. His expedition was the first humans to cross the Ross. On January 9, 1909, they got close to the South Pole, but this time they were forced to turn back with only 97 miles to go because they were out of food. It was 5 years later, August 1st, 1914, when Shackleton and 27 crewmen depart South Georgia Island on the Endurance. Their plan was to make the first overland trek of the Antarctic continent, something no one had ever done. January of 1915, an iceberg trapped the Endurance like a fly on a honey jar, within view of their intended landing site. The Endurance drifted north with the ice in Weddell Sea for 650 miles. The ship was slowly being crushed by ice. After 11 months, the Endurance was crushed by ice movement and the ship sank. All crew members survived. They camped on floating ice for 3 months. They lived in tents and upside-down lifeboats and called it Patience Camp. After 11 months, the Endurance was crushed by ice movement and the ship sank. All crew members survived. They camped like that for 5 months, but their ice floe started breaking into pieces. 3 lifeboats carried all 28 men headed for Elephant Island. 10 miles off the coast of Elephant Island, their lifeboats got stuck in frozen oceans again. The water eventually opened for them to pass through. It was April 19, 1916. After 10 days in icy cold lifeboats, they landed on Elephant Island. Elephant Island is an island full of mountains and covered by ice. It is called Elephant Island because of the elephant seals on the shores. But they needed help. So Shackleton took a 23-foot lifeboat and set sail from Elephant Island with 5 crew members aboard. They were seeking a whaling station South Georgia Island in hopes of rescue help. This was a brutal 800-mile open ocean journey. On May 10, 1916, they landed on South Georgia Island, but at the opposite side of the island where they had intended to land. This is where they landed. This is where they wanted to land. It was called King Haakon Bay. They had only 22 miles to go to get to their whaling station. Shackleton was concerned. He has men on Elephant Island, men on King Haakon Bay, and the only way to get to the other side of the island is a forbidding stretch of the mountains and glaciers. Shackleton knew things were getting dangerous. 2 of the men stayed in the bay. They were too sick to travel. Shackleton and the other 2 crew members completed a 36-hour trek over glacier mountains from their landing point to the whaling station. At Stromness whaling station, the first human beings to see them were 2 boys who took one look and ran away. Shackleton and his pals hadn't changed clothes or a bath for 2 years. A whale catcher named Samson was sent to rescue the 3 men on the other side of the island. When the Samson pulled into King Haakon Bay, the men waiting to be rescued were disappointed when they didn't see Shackleton in the rescue party. "Well, I'm right here," Shackleton stated as they stared at him. They had been with him for 2 years, but failed to recognize him after a bath, shave, and change of clothes. Several months later, Shackleton was finally able to get a boat through the ice to Elephant Island. All 22 men left behind were rescued. They had nearly starved and frozen to death.